speak on his thoughts on Maharashtra is at the forefront of the news as far as nuclear energy is concerned. The events of the last 24 hours, I think, are all making us anxious with respect to listening to your thoughts on this subject. I think we are all eagerly awaiting what reflections you can give with respect to that. And the place, which is constant debate, that traditional renewable and non-renewable resources versus nuclear energy as a substitute, and your thoughts on that, how we can progress, because energy is required. I mean, there is no doubt about it. So thank you, sir. We now eagerly await you to.
Well, I thought I would be spared with this particular question, but
I'm so sorry, sir. I'm so sorry, sir, but it is.
I thought I will talk more about the subject matter which you are dealing with.
Sir,
But it doesn't matter. I think I'll satisfy you. That is. Well, I think first first about the events in Japan. Of course, I see one problem with anything nuclear is I think tsunami is a much bigger calamity. Surely this particular accident in the nuclear reactor is going to have a big impact. But just as the year Chernobyl happened, we had our Bhopal here, but somehow Chernobyl has bigger impact than Bhopal. Similarly, I think these two are happening in the same place, tsunami and the accident. And it looks to me that probably that accident will have a larger impact. It's a part of the public psychology. And I think if as a society, we have to move forward, particularly in an era, as you move forward in time, resources will be always kind of diminishing. So that challenge will increase with time. And at the same time, the requirements, the number of people are going to be more, the aspirations are going to rise. So the requirements are going to be much more. And if you want to borrow Dr. Mashelkar's word, more from less for more, in energy context, I think you know no option but to follow nuclear energy. Now, just to inform people about what happened in Japan, see, this particular power station has 6 units, out of which 3 were down for maintenance and 3 were running. They are boiling water reactors. They in fact got shut down as they should when the tsunami occurred, or not tsunami, the earthquake occurred. And but then it's not clear, but maybe because of the effect of tsunami, but some of the equipment, particularly the emergency diesels, which have to supply the emergency cooling, those equipment got knocked off because of flooding or something like that. I'm only telling you from the media reports, which may not be exactly accurate, but this is what I surmise. And as a result, I think there has been a crisis in one of the reactors, and there is certain amount of radiation leak there. Having said that, I don't think the damage caused by radiation leak is bad. No kind of complacence on that. But I don't think the damage caused by the radiation is going to be anywhere comparable, even in a minute fraction of the damage caused by tsunami. I think we should keep that in perspective. Nuclear industry, of course, it has a tradition of learning from the lessons. It has learned a lot from 3 Mile Island. It has learned a lot from Chernobyl. In fact, the whole organization, World Association of Nuclear Operators, was formed as a result or a consequence of Chernobyl. And today, the safety of the reactors has gone several notches higher. So I'm quite certain the industry will get together and analyze this particular event in great detail, and I think nuclear industry will emerge stronger. And now talking about India, I think we must certainly learn lessons, but I think we can't allow ourselves to be deviated from the development path. So that much about the nuclear. Now, if you allow me, I want to make just two more points on the subject matter that is being discussed here. I think we need to recognize that a great force in driving economic growth is the demographic dividend that we have. So when you're talking about rapid growth, it goes without saying that you have to concentrate on education of our youth. And there I think we need to change our pathways. We somehow, higher education, we talk about education separately, research separately, industrial or translation of technology to industry is a separate thing. I think that's, in my view, that's where the problem lies. We have this compartmental view about things. It's very important that all the three, the higher education, research, innovation, as Dr. Mashelkar said, and the activity to carry out the translation to India, all that has to happen together. I'm quite surprised. We talked about SEZ and a lot of water has flown under the bridge in the name of SEZ. I have not heard anybody saying that along with SEZ, you would have a research park or you will have a university campus. In an era driven by knowledge, the economy driven by knowledge, if you're talking about the right innovation ecosystems, I think you must talk about big complexes where the education industry and technology development or research goes hand in hand. So my first suggestion is the industry, if you're talking about SEZs, please ensure that along with that there are research parks and some education content corresponding to whatever industry or technology you're talking about. It will make a lot to the growth story of Maharashtra if you do that in Maharashtra.
Actually, Anil had been recently to China and he tells us something very interesting. There are 300 research parks in China as against India. Can you guess how many? One in IIT Chennai. Anil brought this out.
So I would say, can we think of at least 50 research parks in Maharashtra?
Sir, this is for you as a question
So-
representing the government of Maharashtra on the research side.
So, but let me, I have not completed. So let me complete my story. So this is number one. Number two, we talk about skill. A lot of things have been talked about skill development and a lot of schemes are there. I think it's important that decentralized way, every district or every block, you should have a conglomerate of the education institutions in that place, the industry in that place, even social NGOs in that place together, and look at what are the skill development requirements of that place. And we should have schemes, maybe partnership between government and industry. But we should have schemes to do the skill development activity all along, not just schools or not just people who leave schools and don't go to professional stream and go into ITI or that kind of a thing. I think you must have skill development with every curriculum, whether it's in engineering, whether it's in science, whether it's in humanities, whether it's in commerce. I think there are skills attached to everything, and we should look at that part, and it probably should be done district by district or region by region. And I think you will find a big difference in terms of the growth story of Maharashtra. And last, of course, infrastructure, which everybody has said. But I think the key point is that infrastructure should connect people, connect villages to cities, uh, by way of roads, by way of information highways, by way of anything that connects. I think if you connect people by way of infrastructure, you will have very